So on Tuesday, the Boys and Girls Club of Harlem held their Youth of the Year benefit at the famous Edison Ballroom. To say it was a rousing success would be an understatement. It was truly a celebration of achievement, purpose, and destiny. But to make the destiny come true in the future, the club needs help and help from the private sector. Joining me now, Boys and Girls Club of Harlem CEO Sharon Joseph, Quamique Marcial, who joined the Boys and Girls Club in 2016. He's now interning for Roberts and Ryan on Wall Street. And Roberts and Ryan Investment CEO is with us as well at the Alessandro. Sharon, I want to begin with you because, honestly, you have brought an amazing vision to the Boys and Girls Club. You've got a private sector, Wall Street background. Talk to us a little bit where you want to take it.
Well, thank you so much. I think for me, it was about building a bridge. Having been on Wall Street for 20 plus years, I saw companies bring in students, but they weren't prepared. Oftentimes they didn't have the social emotional, and so I realized that I wanted to start earlier in the process, to go down in that pipeline and to continue to build a bridge so that students like Q, and that's what we affectionately call him, could get exposure and opportunities.
So Q, let's talk about that. What attracted you to the club in the first place?
So going to high school in Harlem has really been like not different, but it's been weird in the sense of you don't get many opportunities to, do a lot of things in certain aspects. And going to the Boys and Girls Club has really been a place where I can go and be safe and have a comfortable space to go through every day, to just enjoy myself and do things that, not normally people can do.
And listen, the reason I bring it up is because I went there. It started out as M.L. Wilson Boys Club. The convent church ran it. And me and my brothers moved to New York to Harlem in 75, 73, 74, and I joined in like 76. And it was an amazing, to your point, safer space where you have people who were helping you. They ran a football team. I played on the team. And it was really an oasis in an area that was extraordinarily dangerous. And it was hard also, to be honest with you, to be an individual when I was growing up. Everyone had to act and be a certain way, or you're actually in jeopardy or trouble. Did you ever feel some of that yourself?
Not
to that degree, but
no, not really.
Okay.
It's been how do I say this? It's been where you grow up and you're not exposed to certain things and
Right.
having a lot of opportunities
Right.
to be successful.
Right. And let me talk to you for a moment because Robin and Ryan, the firm itself was founded by a U.S. Marine Corps Vietnam veteran, Purple Heart recipient, and it feels like this is sort of in the ethos, this is sort of in the veins of your firm, to go out and help people.
Absolutely. Actually, we founded the firm on the principle of actually giving back to veterans. I mean, we're a for-profit organization, owned and run by veterans, but we have a social mission to take a percentage of everything that we make and give it back to organizations that are helping vets every single day. We figure that's the way we can have the biggest impact. But one of the biggest things that you find when you go out and you work with these organizations is you meet these incredible people, and it kind of gives you faith in the country that it's still a great country. And you meet people like Sharon, and someone who gives up a Goldman Sachs paycheck to come and help kids
Right.
in Harlem is somebody that we want to be associated with.
And now Q's interning for you, right?
He's interning he's on the floor. We actually have a floor presence. We're the only veteran firm with a floor presence, and he's down there with our team.
You like the action down there?
Yeah, everybody at the Roberts and Ryan and Mark Miller has been has opened me and my friend with open arms, and it's made everything just comfortable and seamless.
Yeah. So Sharon, I know one of your goals is to get off the dependence of the kind of funding, right? The sort of the grants and the government funding, which is slow, inconsistent, and limited, and to bring in more private sector funding. How's that going?
I have to say that when we first started, again, with my Wall Street background, I believe in a diversified portfolio. And while we appreciate the government funding we've had over the last few years, we wanted to diversify our funding, both corporations as well as foundations, and to make sure that people really understood the work that we do. I believe that it's not just about the money, it's about building long-term relationships. So when we partner with a corporation, it's now opening up job opportunities for our students. And when they start to see what they can do, it helps them to go back and excel in school because they're more intentional about their career, they're more intentional about school, as well as it helps with the racial equity divide, right? So we teach the kids financial literacy. I get that through the corporations and the foundations.
Right.
They support that mission.
It's amazing that financial literacy is not something that's mandatory in all schools,
schools, yes.
at a young age, right? I mean,
Yeah.
isn't it amazing?
Yeah, it is. It's not amazing. It's just like it's like pretty bizarre and like not. It's like.
He knows that I get on top of them. We have financial literacy classes weekly. Sometimes I teach the class. We've partnered with Wharton University to teach financial literacy. I have to say thank you to our banks because, again, a lot of our local banks have come in and not only teach our students financial literacy, but to teach their parents as well. The reason why we have our workforce program in the summer is because a lot of these kids don't
Talk
have
real
income.
quick about that before we run out of time.
We have a workforce program where we not only train the students for 6 weeks, we train them in banking, we train them in technology and media, in healthcare, in retail, and we pay the students. So I got a fundraise, we pay them $1,300 for Project Learn, to learn work skills. And right now I have a wait list of 150 students that I need to raise money for so they can do it. But it's those type of opportunities that prepares him to go work for firms.
Yeah. Well, got to say, Ed, it's amazing the hand that the helping hand that you've provided.
Oh, we're honored to do it.
Yeah.
Happy to do it.
And I think Sharon's probably always bugging you. Tell more of your friends.
We're gonna, and hopefully as we grow, we're gonna bring on more and more of the Harlem Boys and Girls.
All right, and Q, we're going to be watching you, my man. You're like the trailblazer. You ready?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
All right. Well, you look good. You sound good, and you've been an amazing story, amazing success story. So a lot of younger folks in the neighborhood are looking up to you as well.
Thank you.
And Sharon, what can I say? You are an absolute superstar. You really are. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right. All right, folks. Again, I want to say thank you to Sharon, Ed, and of course Q. And if you'd like to donate to the Boys and Girls Club of Harlem, you can text BGCH GIVE to 44-321. And before we go and I hand it off the show, I want to say a quick word about the Boys and Girls Club of Harlem and other organizations like it. It really does take special people so dedicated that really they only see the finish line. They don't see the obstacles, which in many cases could be like Mount Everest, a lot more like Mount Everest than a speed bump. One such man that was there during my time was a man named Leroy Carter. To this day, I don't even know what he did for a living, but I do know the times that he helped me and my brothers when we would come up short of the fees, like to play football. He always reached in his pocket, and he did that, by the way, for anyone on the team. He ran the program soup to nuts. He would fill out paperwork to get insurance. He went out there, he found the coaches. There were numerous groundbreaking ceremonies for the Boys and Girls Club. They would unbrick the entrance. A bunch of politicians would come in, make speeches, and they'd brick it back up. Here's one of the events, though, where I stood next to Mr. Carter. And the cameras and the politicians would leave, but I always had faith that he would be there and he would never give up on the kids in the community. And every community, in my opinion, needs a Mr. Carter. If we had that, we'd be a better nation. So shout out to all of those who volunteer and help the young in their communities.